this about a year ago. So thanks again for taking the time to be here with us. I know everyone on the call is really excited to hear from you and to learn from you and just to hear what you have to share. So I'm going to turn this back over to Tejaswini because you're the one running the call, leading the call, and so I just wanted to say hi to everyone and I'll be here listening. But yeah, Tejaswini, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Laxmi, for joining us as well. And for all the students who have joined in, really excited to see you all here and participate. This is going to be a very good event, and ask away all your questions. Fall quick kickoff is always exciting, and this is really a platform for you to guys to get started with product management. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome, Lakshmi. So to just get started, very quickly, I'm going to be talking about the club itself, introducing the club to everybody, and from there, Lakshmi will get started. So just a second. Please let me know when my screen is visible.
We can see it, Teja.
Okay, awesome. So product based, as you all know, is was established in 2019. Our advisor is Professor Mark Thouin, and it was founded by Laxmi Peketi, who is also our speaker for today. We had started this club with a mission to spread awareness about product management to all the students at UT Dallas, and with a vision to train our students here and become successful product managers. The ways that we do it is by speaker events, networking sessions, mentoring sessions, and even interview preparations. So you'll have all of the resources available, which you can grab through the semesters that we have had in the past, and you will continue to have as well, and after you graduate as well. So you will be coming back to UTD if you'd like to meet all our students and our members at the university. So this is not the end. As you graduate, you will continue. And just a little bit about our numbers. We have had 400 members until now, which is huge. We have grown predominantly in UT Dallas itself, and a lot of students have engaged on product management and are successful product managers out there. We have 10 mentors in the club, and so far have organized 60 events with 30 plus speakers. A little bit on the previous highlights. This was in the last year where we again had a kickoff with Lakshmi. And we had transitioning to PM role, product strategy development, user design, interview preparation, post-deployment, again, another round of interview preparation and volunteering opportunities. We also had AT&T last year to collaborate and talk about how data analytics is involved, as well as how it goes hand in hand with product management. And we also made it to the finalists in the Owlies. So great journey, and you have lots of opportunities here to get hands-on experience in product management. Nebula Labs is one such passion project that goes on in ECSS. They have given us the opportunity at JSOM to volunteer in product management roles in their project. So we have a couple of students working there as well. We will look forward to having more product managers joining Nebula Labs this semester. So we can get started with roadmap, Krita. Go for it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Kritagama Divakar. I'm the Vice President of the product base here. You can call me Krita. Well, until now, as you know, we have had a lot of in-person speaker events and networking sessions arranged. And this semester is again going to be the same with the kickoff event that's being hosted by Lakshmi right now. And after this, we'll have Walmart and Google coming over. So I'll let you know about that in a few more minutes. But the biggest flagship of our club this semester is the Student Success Program. It's a buddy program where we will be putting you into small groups and assigning a mentor for each group. Now, each of these mentors are either alumni of UTD or graduate students have done their product management internships. So you will get to have your resumes reviewed and helps with your interview preparations. This is again a members only event. So I must tell you this, you have to become a member of the product based to avail benefits of this. It's definitely going to be really beneficial because by the end of November 20, we plan to launch you as product managers out there. We'll make sure you have all the right skills that is. Next slide, Teja. Okay, like I said, this is our flyer for the Student Success Program. If you haven't registered yet, please go ahead, scan the QR code. This is an amazing opportunity. This is the first time we're doing it at UTD and we're going big. We're making sure we have a lot of alumni and the niche product managers out there coming to UTD and helping you with your entire journey. Now, coming to the speaker events, we have two big events planned out for the next 2 months. One is product strategy, which will be by Poonam Lamba, and the other is interview prep by Shalini Dinesh. Now, let me tell you a brief about each of these events. Product strategy in particular is going to be an in-person event, which will have an in-class activity as well. So you not just sit down and listen to Poonam talk about strategy, you will get your hands dirty. You will work on a problem statement in which the end goal will be coming up with a strategy for your product. Now, interview preparation is something that is really going to be a very big event. We'll have Walmart in campus. They, as you know, they hire a ton load of interns from UTD, and we'll make sure that you have everything needed to attend those interviews and make sure you get the job. Now, coming to the financial aspect of it, TPB membership does require you to pay a $10 membership fee, but this is a lifetime opportunity. You are member for life. That is for your entire tenure in UTD. And once you graduate out of UTD, you can make use of the resources of the product-based club. It might look like a big amount right now, but it's just one Uber ride that you will be spending on. So make sure you pay that $10 and become members and avail all the amazing benefits that we have for you over here. The details of how to become a member is on our website, theproductbasedclub.com. We even have a small screenshot of it over here. So if you don't have the time to make a note of this right away, always visit our website, theproductbasedclub.com, and you'll have all the information out there. If you have any other questions, please reach out to the Leadership Council for this semester. It's headed by Teja, and I'm there as the Vice President. You can find all our information on the website. You can reach us on LinkedIn, Instagram, or any social media platform that you prefer, and we will be there to handle your product questions. Now I set the stage for Laxmi, and Laxmi, it's all yours to guide students on their product journey.
Thank you so much. Firstly, thanks team for bringing me back here. Really thanks Professor for the warm welcome. I'm super excited to be back and then be able to interact with you all again once again. Okay, back in 2019, let me take you back to my journey and how I've landed where I am right now. So I started off my career as a civil engineer, or did my undergrad as a civil engineer at NIT Warangal. Midway through my engineering, I realized more like did an internship to try it out officially in the field at L&T, and I realized that was not my cup of tea. So during my final year or final semester, I started focusing more on tech roles and more into management because that's where I thought my forte was. And I landed my first job as an analyst in Bank of America. That really set my stage up to where I wanted to head my career into. That was in tech. And that also gave me my basis to pursue my master's in MIS, or Management and Information Technology, at UT Dallas. And it has been a great starting point for my career into tech, and it's been a great journey so far, thanks to UTD. And that's when, okay, so this is back in 2018 when I started my journey with UT Dallas. And that's where I realized a lot of folks were really, that was the time when everyone was data this, data that, data science, data engineering, business analytics, and everything about data and analytics. I haven't heard the term PM back then. I didn't hear one soul talk about product management in 2018, and I was like, okay, maybe my journey is supposed to be a business analyst, or maybe it is supposed to be with numbers, and it is supposed to be with those visualizations that I need to work with. And I didn't even think about once that PM is a term that exists out there. And when you are a student that has barely any experience in the industry, you don't really know what are the career options out there. Um, Luckily, I stumbled upon a TEDx talk, and I used to love this, and I would highly recommend watching a lot of TEDx talks as well, which will introduce you to technological advancements in like that's happening right now and that would come in the future. There was one particular video that I stumbled across by a Netflix product manager, and I'll paste the link after the call. That really honestly changed my life, and I devote my career or the turning point to that video, and I realized, oh wow, the way he explained how Netflix built its journey and how a PM's vision was, that really enticed how I really wanted to see my career transition into. So that's when I heard the term product manager. And that's when I started researching more on like, okay, what do I need to be a PM? What are the things that are involved to be a PM? And do I have the skill set or do I need to do certifications? I was exactly on the same boat as you folks were. Sadly, back then I didn't really have a lot of mentors or the club to guide me or anyone from UTD, honestly, to help me go through this journey with a little bit ease. But then I pulled few strings, and then I decided to take a bunch of courses in UTD that would aligning to be a PM, and also researched a lot of different areas that helped me as well. Um, I'll go through the list of resources, but the next thing that really helped me was LinkedIn Learning's course, becoming a product manager. And that really helped me understand what a PM does and what does it actually entail to be a daily PM on a daily basis, and what skills do I need to show aligning to my skill set that would help me crack through that interview. So that was another great resource. The third thing that really helped me was the book Cracking the PM Interview. And I'm sure most of you guys, if you are really interested in becoming a PM, you must have heard of this by now, and it's pretty famous and then talked about quite a lot of places. And fourthly, the last one was digital product management, which I took a course in UT Dallas that also really helped me towards that part of my journey as well. So this was all in UT Dallas, and then I had started my internship as a portfolio manager or an analyst, where I was working with data again. So I didn't really have a choice to be a PM, but then I did work with my team and my manager, and I asked if I can shadow in some PM interns and then do some PM work for a different team. And luckily they accepted it. That also gave me some learning experience on how to be a PM. So by then, this was my journey so far. And then after I interned in Nokia, I applied for Microsoft's program manager role, new grad role. It was program manager back then, and I applied for that, and I got through the different rounds, and I luckily went into Grace Hopper's final round, and I got through the product manager role, a program manager role at Microsoft at GHC. And this was 2019 October, and I came back to college for the last semester, and I told professor, I think we really need a club which has a product management club in UT Dallas. Since I learned and did this whole process through myself, and I honestly thought that it would be a great journey if I can give back in some sense and then help students get familiarized with the term PM. And luckily, he supported me throughout, and we were able to launch this club, the product base, in 2019. That's a brief journey about me and my process to Microsoft. So from civil engineering to being a product manager in Microsoft is definitely been an interesting journey. I wouldn't say it was a piece of cake, but I just had to tell myself reiterate and then keep getting better and keep pushing yourself to the right direction. So the next thing, which I feel is the biggest thing that changed or like got me the job in Microsoft, and I'm sure it will get you guys a job in a PM role for all guaranteed, is mock interviews. And I'll just talk about mock interviews and my journey on how I prepped for it through the next few slides, and then I can take questions on the mock interview process and everything. So when I started my prep for Microsoft, what I did was, okay, let me go about, before I go into that, let me talk about what mock interviews are. So I'm sure you must have heard about, this is more like tech terms. People focus on, for a software engineer role, you have lead code. You must have heard of data science stuff. You must have lead code also, right? So what do PMs have? Like what do we have to do? Because it's more behavioral strategy and those kind of questions that are based out of. How can you prep for it? The only way to prep for this is mock interviews. And mock interviews is basically a process where two folks are asking each other questions with taking turns and then helping each other for a different process. Now, in PM roles, the interview design is mostly design based interview questions, or like mock product strategy based questions. I'll give you an example and then we can walk through the process as well. But this is the gist of mock interviews. And how did I plan out this whole process? And there are different stages in mock interview. Like in this slide, you can see the first stage is just learning and shadowing, defining, and then perfecting. What I did with my mock interview phase is the first few weeks, I just listened through a few folks taking mock interviews, or I took mock interviews. When I say that I took mock interviews as a beginner, I sat with a stranger on a call and I asked them questions like, hey, design alarm clock for a blind person, right? So that was a question. And then they go through their interview process or their brainstorming process, and then they answer their design interview questions. So the first stage, which I took 1 to 2 weeks, just took mock interviews, listened to their ideas, took notes. And then this really helped me understand what a mock interview is, what kind of design questions I need to ask, what type of design answers I'm expecting to ask. And at the same time, the best part is when you listen through their answers, right? You are actually listening to a lot of thought processes around. If you do 10 mock interviews or you take 10 mock interviews, you listen to 10 different people's ideas, which are completely out of box most of the time because everyone's preparing for product management. And when you take those notes and you reflect back, by the time you are giving your mock interview or you're actually giving your interview in real life, you can utilize all those ideas and create your own vision and strategy as well. So the first part, learning and shadowing. The next part is defining. Like I mentioned, write down your thoughts for all the interviews you take and you give. This will help you process through your ideas. And by the end of it, I think by the end of third and fourth week, you should have a step-by-step process of what your answer should look like. Now, if I'm taking an example of designing the alarm clock, who is the customer? What is the journey of the customer? What is your customer journey process? Then talk about what are the pros and cons of this idea? Then lastly, what is the summarization? So by the end of it, you should have a brief idea of it. There are a lot of methods that I explained on books, then online. There are circle strategies, multiple of them outside. But I would say by the time you do these mock interviews, you should have your own unique way of answering these questions. So that is the defining phase. And the last one is perfecting. So once you're done with multiple mock interviews, giving, taking, etc., make sure by the end of it, you at least give 3 or 4 mock interviews with an industry expert who has experience in the industry and who has experience taking these interviews, because they can give you precise information and precise feedback on how you should talk about how you should answer these questions and give you feedback from a industry perspective. Before that, you're completely free to do these mock interviews with your friends, complete strangers and relatives, anyone. Absolutely anyone. And I would highly recommend doing it with strangers, even if they don't have any experience as a PM. They ask them to find a question online and give it to you. The reason behind is the more you interact with strangers, the more you get confident towards the end of the interview, talking to the actual interviewer. So here are 3 different stages of the mock interview. And I meant, like, in the end, it's all, I have resources attached as well. You should be able to find channels where you can find mock interviews. And then I can talk about any more questions after that. Can you go to the next slide? Yes. So how did I plan this whole prep? The first step is spend 3 months on the entire process. The first step, first month, PM concepts, what does a PM do? Read through articles, read through the books, etc., etc. The second and third month focus on mock interviews and perfecting the design format, which I mentioned previously. And then the preparation is basically understanding the concept of the PM. What does a PM do? What skills should you have? And then go through different areas where you can talk to people and then understand how a day-to-day life looks like. And lastly, performance. Finding the mock interview partner is also very important. And start your prep with who's starting fresh as you begin with, and then go slowly advance to someone. So as I mentioned, do as many mock interviews as possible and do it with different people so you can get perfect by the end of it. That's the journey of mock interviews for you guys. Can you go to the next slide? Okay. So far, that was the mock interview process, and then how you can create strategies and how you can improve on that. Now, I'll go through some of the frequently answered or asked questions in the previous year. One of the main one was difference between program, product, and project. I'll not go by this slide, but I'll briefly tell you what the difference is in the industry. It's first program, which has a bunch of products in it, and then comes a product, and then comes a project. So programs has multiple different products under it, and then a product is like specifically to one section, and then project is the smaller features in that. Now, let me take a banking app, right? Banking front page, more like homepage or customer journey experience would be the first program part of it. And then product part of it is the homepage. Homepage is a product. Now, each feature can come under a project manager, which has engineering teams and everything as well. So when you're trying to understand where you want to go your journey towards, program managers are usually people who drive vision and strategy of different products together. You know, they more on like org level basis, like they drive KPIs, they drive programs that help drive these KPIs. They focus mostly on working with just business teams. Now, product managers are a combination of folks that work with the program managers and work with the engineering team as well. So they define each product vision, strategy, and roadmap, and then they research on what the user or the customer pain points are, and then they go into the engineering team or the agile team, work with project managers, engineering folks, and everything to define, create all those processes. Mostly, now coming to project managers, they deal with mostly resources, how many people are needed, how much time is needed, what are the budgets, goals, etc. So as a product manager, you go from different terms. Now, since we are talking about PM journey, I'll focus on that. And that it starts with idea, what the idea is. Okay, and then you take that idea and you see if there is anything out there already, market research. Then you do some customer research. If it is already there, what are the pain points that the customers had previously? So customer research. Market research also comprises competitive research. Like you understand what your competitors have, what are they offering. Then you take these research and ideas and build a strategy and a product that you can create and provide to these to our customer. So you create the vision, you create specs, you create UXs, you create design documents and all of that, and you create a vision and a plan. So you take this plan to the engineering teams and you work with them on creating a product, and then reiterate the same thing. Then go to market, publicize it, marketing also comes into picture. So this is an end-to-end journey of a product manager. I hope I was able to answer the difference between product, project, and program, because this was one of the main mostly asked question in the previous years, and I thought I would address that as well. Yes, okay. So this one, I'll walk through the process, and then I think hopefully this should answer most of the questions that I had received yesterday as well. How did I meet people or mentors or mock interview partners? Through the Facebook groups, Slack channels, and LinkedIn. So Facebook groups like Product Manager, Women in Product, Grace Hopper, GHC, and a lot of other groups. I'm sure there are a lot more right now. This has been very outdated list. I'm sure it's been from when I started my journey. So these links definitely are great to join when you are starting off as a PM. Join in, post an introduction. I have just joined. I'm looking to transition. I have no skills. I'm looking for PM partners who would help with mock interview. There are a lot of people at all points in career who want to do mock interviews and who want to transition into a different role. Even if I am a mid-level PM, I would be willing to take a mock interview for a junior or a senior level, because it's all about meeting strangers and going through the process together. So I would highly recommend these channels. Some of the learnings that I had becoming a PM, interviewing for product management jobs, highly recommend LinkedIn Learning for that. Books that really help me decode and conquer. Some of my interview questions with Microsoft were from Decode and Conquer, and I was really shocked and surprised. It was like I vaguely remember reading through that question, and I knew that it was from that book. So I would highly recommend reading Decode and Conquer, and I'm sure some of the PM interviews pick up things from there. There are more books out there right now. I'll paste some more. I think Swipe to Unlock, there was another book that I really liked as well for PM. And another main thing that really helped me through the journey is design thinking. I'm sure LinkedIn Learning has a lot of design thinking courses right now. That's another thing I would highly recommend. For the team as well, if you can do a design thinking workshop, I would highly encourage bringing someone in, or like working through a design thinking workshop. That's a great way to think out of the box and bring in that concepts as well. Then there are a lot of articles out there, PM websites, and another thing that really helped me understand if PM job helps me or not, it's like the personality test, MBTI test. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but this really helps me see what are my strengths and what I can improve on. And this also attaches to some career paths that would be really beneficial for you. So that's another thing that I would highly recommend doing. But this is the brief history, journey, mock interview resources that I wanted to share. I think that's the end of it. If you had any questions, I would love to take them now.
So I think Nicholas, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, camera on. Okay, perfect. So really quick, thank you so much for coming. Really educational. I really liked you breaking down program versus product versus project. Thought I knew that, but that really, really helped. So what companies are you really seeing as being the biggest product management, advocates, hirers? As someone that's interested, I'm currently a full-time MBA student. It seems like every company hires it, but it's very difficult to find the ones that do consistently. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All the big FANG, I don't know what they call it now. definitely hire PMs as an ongoing basis, and I think PM role has just grown so tremendously in the last few years. And I think you, as students itself, you must have seen. I have seen the transition from not talking about a PM role to talking about it. Back then, they never hired freshers. They didn't even. There were very few companies that were hiring PM roles as a fresh off. Microsoft being one of them. I did know Facebook, Google, and a few other companies had roles specifically for PM freshers, like new grad PM roles. Now, I think a lot more companies are being open to hiring PMs as a junior level basis. Now, PM term can vary differently, very differently for different companies. And the role specifically can be very different as well. Like, business B2B, B2C, and C, like a lot of different industry specific also changes, right? So as a role, your role also changes as a PM. I know in Microsoft itself, there are PMs. I mean, now it's more PM program and product, but 2 years back, we didn't have a differentiation between program and product. Everyone was just called program managers. And there were program managers who were technical and working with an engineering team. There was program managers working with data science team. There was program managers working with UX and design team. So it was just very vaguely, and it depends on where you land, because usually when they hire freshers, they don't hire for a specific skill or a role. When they're doing new grad hiring, they hire based on your thought process, your growth mindset, and how your design thinking is applying for a customer role, and understanding that customer is the god of everything, and making sure you answer questions based on the customer aspect of it. So usually new grad roles are usually hired as a generalized, and then they're put into sections. Now, if you come with industry experience, if you're coming from a retail experience as a PM already who has some previous experience, then it would be more relevant if you go into the same industry. But at the same time, if your skills are, transferable everywhere, specs are the same, the way you think is the same, so it can be transferred to a different industry as well. I hope I answered that question, or I can go in detail.
No. You did fantastically. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicholas. We have Sanjana next.
Hi, Lakshmi. Thank you so much for the session. It was very informative. So I'm attending GHC this year in person in Orlando. So I wanted to ask you, since you already visited GHC and you told me that it helped you land the job at Microsoft, right? So what tips do you have? Like I have 20 days more to attend the conference. What do you think I should be doing, and what can help me in the conference? And is Microsoft visiting this year? I know that Microsoft is visiting. So is it hiring for PM roles?
Okay, let me step back and talk about what I did at before my GHC, and then I talk about Microsoft and visiting and all that. So when I went to Microsoft, not Microsoft, when I went to GHC, I started my, like I said, prep 2 months before that. Like as soon as the registration happened, I got the ticket. For those 2 months, I was doing mock interviews, and I was applying to a lot of different roles that are posted specifically for GHC. There are a lot of companies actually open up roles. If you Google it, search for PM and then write GHC on the site, you should see a lot of companies open up just roles specifically to GHC. Make sure to apply to them. B, a lot of recruiters, a lot of companies, a lot of people who are going to GSC, they continuously post on their LinkedIn saying, I'm attending GSC, I am going to be hiring. Reach out to them. Then there was one such posting that was posted by Microsoft, a recruiter, saying that I am looking to hire these roles, new grad PM and new grad software developer role. And she pasted a specific link. I luckily was able to click through that, and I reached out to the recruiter as well, and she was able to set up an interview immediately for me. So making sure on every single day, the newly posted roles or newly posts by people on LinkedIn, anything related to GHC, reach out to them, apply to them. That really helped me be on par, like be up to date with all the recruitment and then interviews. I went into GHC. The GHC part was just the last part of it. I went into GHC with at least 5 interviews already lined up, with 3 of them final rounds. So GHC might be just, people think GHC is the place to find a job. No, everything happens before GHC. A lot of recruitment and everything finishes up by the time you go into GHC. So the final rounds are usually what are lined up for the top big companies, at least, because they can't usually take in so many interviews on the spot, and they barely have time to talk to people, right? So I would highly recommend, talk to people, reach out to these recruiters before itself, like do it now, like as soon as possible. If there are any openings or anything that's left that you can get into, that would be the place to be. Now coming to Microsoft, not really sure who is going, because at least my team is not, I'm not going, or none of my org folks are going right now, especially because of a lot of the crunches and everything. Not a lot of folks are able to attend this time, but I'm sure recruiters are definitely going. So do join the Microsoft resources group. There is a group for new grads on LinkedIn. If you are part of that, you should be having a lot of links shared in that and everything. I can share that link as well in the chat for Microsoft recruiting. That might be a spot where you can apply through. But find those recruiters who are going, or like who are working on the GHC process, because that would be helpful.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
So Lakshmi, just a question on the side. Like just as GHC, there is SWE as well. So would you suggest a similar approach for SWE conference as well?
I mean, I personally haven't attended SWE. I'm not sure if hiring. I'm sure hiring definitely happens there as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure all the big companies go there as well. But I'm not really sure about the process. GHC, I can vouch for it just because I have seen people get jobs, and I have gotten my own through GHC. So
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Are there any? I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, are there any other conferences like GHC which we can attend? Because I have 1 other year to grad. So, for students or something like that, I know only about GHC. So, are there any other conferences like this?
Like she mentioned, SWE is another one. There are, I think, product management, PM school organizes one as well. And then there's a PM based conference as well. But I'm not really, I wouldn't highly recommend those PM ones, because they are just more into like industry specific, and then they might be looking to hire experts and all that. But GHC is hands down. Like I wouldn't recommend any other conference more than GHC. Yeah. And if you get a chance, go in person. Do not do the virtual one.
Right.
Thank you, Sanjana. Mitali, you can go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for the session. So I have an undergrad in computer science, and I came right after it for my master's here at UTD. So the only experience I have is a summer internship as a data analyst this year. As a fresher, what courses can I do, or what skills can I work on initially? Secondly, it is very difficult to find PM roles that do not require any work experience. So, is there any specific term for fresher PM roles, or what might help make the job search a bit easier?
Product analyst, associate PM, anything with analysts, PM analysts, and all of that would be a great way to start into the industry. Even if you do and there are junior PM roles as well. So it honestly depends on which company you're applying to. The terminology is very different. So in Microsoft, it's just called a PM one. So it just varies from company to company, and And don't worry that you don't have a PM experience. I didn't have any PM experience, honestly. It's all about how you present yourself in the interview and how you put your ideology across. That's why I highly recommend design thinking and how you can vision a product, and then how you explain that vision to the interviewer. Skills is very interchangeable between different companies, and then it can be transferred. I'm sure as an analyst, data analyst, you have similar skills that could be potentially used as a PM as well. So I wouldn't discourage anyone not having experience and not applying at all. I would, first step, like I mentioned, take a course. LinkedIn Learning has courses in how to become a PM and how to interview for PM, and reading through cracking the PM interview as well. So when you go through these processes of like going through the course, you should be able to easily understand what skills does a PM require. There is no certification or anything of that sort I would recommend, because all these skills are something that you can learn and pick up as and when you go ahead. It's not one certification cannot teach you communication. Certification cannot teach you working with different people. So it's something that you have to learn on the go while working with different people.
Right. So these skills, what you mentioned, what would be a good way to put them on your resume? Because design thinking and all of those, how exactly do you portray them in your resume?
You can, I'm just taking an example, like a line, designed a product vision for this product and developed a strategy. Like, just use keywords that are relevant for a PM, and then incorporate that. As a data analyst, also you would design a vision, right? Like you create or you analyze through data. So analyze through data to create this vision or strategy, etc., etc. There are a lot of ways where you can tailor your resume, and now with ChatGPT, it's much more easier. Just paste in a question, paste in a sentence, and then ask it to use these terms. I would highly recommend just reading through a PM resume, different PM resumes, and picking up these keywords. Another thing is going through these junior level job postings for top companies for a PM role, and then picking through the keywords that they're looking for and trying to incorporate it. It's mostly action words that you can analyze, designed, strategy. There are a lot of things outside. Definitely read through them online.
Okay.
And,
Thank you so much for my question.
Yeah, Laxmi, real quickly, I just want to add something for everyone on the call as well. So we've actually added several courses specifically for product management since you left, and just want to mention those for everybody. We have MIS 6393 Foundations of Digital Product Management. I don't think that was a course when you were here. We also have User Experience Design, which is a course taught by Professor Heffley, and then we have Practical User-Centric Web Development, which is a mix of product management and actually programming the apps. So those are kind of 3 new courses if you're looking to get skills specific for product management. I just wanted to mention those. So thank you.
Yeah, I would highly recommend. College is the place where you can learn most of it, and no better way to be able to project what you have learned through the courses in your resume, right? So take all the advantages you can right now, because you have the courses. I didn't have anything offered back then. So that if any interviewer does ask you, where did you learn this, you can have solid proof to talk about it. And I'm sure there are case studies in these courses as well, which would be really beneficial. So. Next question.
So, Ramesh, you can go ahead.
Hi. Thanks a lot for your speech. It was very informative. Now, in my situation, I've actually been a project manager in heavy industries in construction. Are there transferables? And if so, what is the way to leverage them? Because I'm coming in with a fair degree of experience in that field.
So what course are you doing here?
I'm an MBA student.
MBA student, yeah. MBA itself should be a starting point to switch into a tech or a different industry with a PM sector. And as a project manager, the biggest skill is communication, working with a whole different team and understanding the timelines, deadlines, and understanding the vision as well, right? So all those skills, even if you're building a physical product or a digital product, the skills are just going to be remaining the same. You can use that terminology and wordings and just define it instead of saying designed a product based software or something. You must have designed a building, right?
Yeah.
So just switch the wordings and then use the same thing, and it doesn't matter if you are coming from building an actual product or building a software based on it. So all these skills, it's all about how you portray that with an interviewer and how you put that forward, right? Have at most confidence in what you have done and understand that the work has been just the same. The only difference is just a software, which is uh, a physical versus a online product. Make sense?
Yeah, and you talked a lot about how to handle the interview itself. What about in terms of getting the interview calls? What's like the most important thing there?
Resume. Having, like I said, right, making sure you craft that resume specifically for a PM. And before you apply to any job that you really want, make sure the keywords in that job description map to your resume and insert those keywords in your resume in some way or possible. The second one is networking. Like, I cannot recommend the number of people you should be networking. Use a lot of these events, either the product-based events, could be the networking events offered by the college itself, or like any conferences that you might or be able to attend as well. The more you connect with people, the more you should be able to, you just need one lead out of the million job applications that you apply to. This is something I keep telling, you just need one interview to get through out of the 100 rejections you might have gotten. It's fine. So you don't know where an opportunity can pop by from, anywhere. So make sure you keep connecting with people. Networking and mentors are something that I really look back on and who have helped me through this journey. And that's really helped me through. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ramesh. So, Kamna, you can go next.
Yes. Hi, Lakshmi. Firstly, thank you for the session. So I wanted to ask was like I'm trying to transition into a product role. So I wanted to know like firstly on a day-to-day basis, what tools and languages do you use in your daily work? And next is like for the interview, as you told, like we need to be good for the design interview part, right? So other than that, do companies mostly have also like the technical round wherein they focus maybe on Python, SQL, and stuffs?
Microsoft, I know, doesn't. I don't think we interview technical part of it. I know Google has a coding interview, like as or like design based of backend system design is something that's heavily asked in Google. I know a few other companies, maybe Amazon also does in some roles which they really require it. So it all honestly depends on the company you're going to and the role they're trying to hire for that company. Because some of them heavily require understanding the backend systems, understanding how the technical terms work, and then sometimes they need a PM to design the backend journey for you. Microsoft, I personally don't work on the backend part of it. That's handled by engineering teams. I, however, do have to use a little bit of SQL or like Custos. Microsoft uses Custos, so that's similar to how SQL works. That's something that I've had to learn internally, but it's pretty easy to pick up and work through. Another tool that I ongoingly use is Figma for creating designs and then UX and all of that. Other than that, the usual PowerPoint and Excel and all the Word documents, the specs you need to create. So pretty much common throughout.
Sure, thank you.
So we'll just go with the last two questions. Aishwarya, you had posted one on the chat. We will take yours.
Hey, hi Lakshmi. Thank you for giving your time on the weekday. So, actually, you almost I had posted three. You answered two almost. So I just had two more questions. One, could you just shortly elaborate on a typical day as a PM in Microsoft? And secondly, so I have been told by quite a lot of people that I should be prepared for another role other than a PM in case I don't land in a PM interview immediately, or don't, as you said, get into a role and then maybe get through PM related roles. So do you, like, the interview process for both of them is quite different? Like, for example, if I want to get into a business analyst position instead in the beginning, so like, did you do anything of that sort wherein you prepared for another role, or like, were you really sure that you'll land up into a PM role?
I was not sure I'll land into a PM role because no one was being a PM back then, right? So, but one thing I did was I told myself, and I had quite a bit of time. I was supposed to graduate in May 2020, but in July itself, I had to make a call if I had to graduate early, which was December 2019. And I took that call, and by then I already had a job from Nokia itself, returning offer. So I didn't really interview with any other role, but I was sure that whatever I was going to interview, it was going to be a PM role. And I just focused on those mock interviews and the way I processed through the PM role. But I would highly recommend, if you have experience as a software engineer, if you have experience as a data scientist, it's always much more easier if you're not landing a PM job. It's easier to land your current job and then transition in your companies while you're working with your team members. I cannot emphasize more. Please don't put all your eggs in one basket and then focus and go around unless you have like complete experience and you have time in your hand. If you're starting your journey in July when you're graduating in May, that completely makes sense. You can experiment for 2-3 months. Give yourself 2-3 months to just focus on a role. If it's not working out, then switch to another role and try it out. But if you're finding it hard to land a PM job, then land something that you can achieve and then transition into that role as you go ahead.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Munzi, you're last. Go ahead.
Hi, am I audible? Yeah. Lakshmi, thanks for the session. I was just asking, not from a nerd perspective. I have two questions. Number one is how important your CGPA plays a role to get a call for a PM interview, and another one is, as a PM, do you need to know any code language particularly? I see most of them are laughing, so I think the first question is important to many of us.
You mean the GPA, right?
Yeah, right.
Honestly, not important. It's probably important as long as you're putting it on your resume and you're talking about it. But when a recruiter is reading through your resume, I don't think they care about your GPA. They care more about your projects you have done, the experience you bring in, the way you present yourself in the interview. Yeah, I was very similar to you guys. I thought it was very important. And that doesn't mean that with Professor here, I'm not saying that you shouldn't study, but highly recommend take your courses seriously because it's a different, refreshing way that it's presented to you. Take them as a learning opportunity to understand what's out there in the industry, because most of the courses in UT Dallas are skills you learn, and it's not more like bookish knowledge, right? So it's definitely a fun way to experience, get an experience of these courses, which you would potentially be using in your day-to-day life. The next question was around
any particular like programming language you need to.
No, I wouldn't. It differs from company to company, right? So I wouldn't say that being a PM you should not learn any language. It is definitely beneficial to learn. So I highly recommend learn any language because it's all like similar logic, right? So if you learn Python, you understand how to learn another language as well. But yeah. But before closing, since it's all about generative AI right now and ChatGPT and everything, I would highly recommend, to be relevant in today's industry, make sure you understand how to write those prompts or how to get information out of the ChatGPT world as well. So that's something being a PM can be really helpful, and it's something that I would recommend maybe looking at some courses on generative AI, the terms used behind generative AI, and how as a PM you can incorporate those generative AI stuff in your product vision.
Thank you, Laxmi. Thank you, Manzir. So, Laxmi, thank you for your time. Again, a very informative session. We love having you over every year, and hopefully you keep coming like this every year and give us all the introduction that we need to product management. I was a student who attended the event last year, and today I have had the opportunity to intern as a product manager, because it all really comes down to the effort you put in. So yeah, I mean, totally depends on how you develop your product mindset. Thank you for your sessions as always, Laxmi.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be back, and I was through the same process. I was struggling like you guys. All I could say is just believe in yourself, work hard for these 2 years, and then your life would probably change with the effort and the time you put in now. So make the most of it, network through university, and I'm sure you guys will be great PMs one day.
Thank you, Laxmi. Before we close off, everyone, please turn on your cameras. And if you have a paper or anything next to you, could you please just write down one word on the event and just show us, and Siddhant here will capture it, just to, have an emphasis on how the event was and the feedback. Are we all ready? I'll just give a minute to grab your papers and just write down one word. Siddhant, are you there on call?
Hi, Deshmini, I'm here.
Yes, awesome. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let me just change the view mode.
Did we? I don't know. Is it all good?
Yeah, it is. Perfect.
And
wait a second.
This might be a little better.
Are we good?
I can have few more participants to go ahead.
Come on, guys, turn on your videos quickly. We just have a minute. Thank you so much. Lovely. Laxmi, thank you so much. Thank you, Professor, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Laxmi, for being here again. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're super busy. We really appreciate you taking the time, and really enjoyed the presentation and the conversation. So thanks again. And yeah, great turnout, everybody. Great first event. I hope to see you on campus before too long.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laxmi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laxmi.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Laxmi. Thank you,
Morning.
thank you, product base.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Lakshmi.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Laxmi. Thank you, product based team.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Laxmi.
Professor.
Yeah, thank you. I guess I'll drop off too. Bye.
Thank you, Professor. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.